Good morning. Good morning. Look at you doing your job. What's happening?
Sometimes you gotta pop out and showcase.
Do that. Do that.
Pop out and
Good
show.
morning. What's happening?
Do it more often.
No, because then I go against
You
the grain. I can't.
You ain't gonna
go
get it
against the grain.
twice.
No,
You ain't gonna
How
get it
about
twice.
again?
no, once, twice, three times.
Just be happy with what you got.
That's
bro.
it.
Yes. See, give
See,
people a little
that's
bit.
too much.
They want the
Man,
world.
give them an inch and
No,
Hey.
but you know what that means. He's shown you that he has the
Man,
capability.
listen.
We
here,
know
man.
he had the
He
capability.
chooses not to.
We know he
See,
had the capability.
I choose.
He not gonna act
I
right.
choose
I
to build my
choose
own
you,
dynasty.
baby.
Your own dynasty.
Yeah,
Just get to building. I
Oh.
like bros
Hey,
who
you
build
understand me?
dynasties.
you
Do
understand me?
that. Do that.
Yeah, I'm building something.
Ah,
Call me Bob.
Y'all
The
gonna have me
builder.
singing that all day. I choose you,
yes.
Willie Hutch.
Yeah, all right, Willie.
It would be great if it was reciprocated, but okay.
Yeah, but we.
Wait. What would be great if it was reciprocated?
That's
Choosing?
what he chose
The
you.
choosing?
back.
Oh man.
Oh wait. I gotta text this girl about this turkey. Hold on.
Live on air.
I'm live on the air. Wait a minute, I gotta text this girl about this turkey. Hold on. Hang on, y'all.
This cat over
Hang
here
on,
doing
y'all.
his own thing.
Can you order one extra?
Yeah, it is Friday. It gotta be Friday.
Wait.
This cat over here.
I choose you. Yeah,
For real?
that's right.
He said, yeah, like he done got down over there.
Now,
All of
dude,
the
now
can
he
you
done
order-
kicked out with choosy lover.
Yeah, choosing. Yeah,
Can
there's a whole
you
lot of
order
choosing
one
going on.
I'm so
extra?
proud of. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad you chose me, baby.
Y'all only get away with this because I'm texting.
Yeah, we know when the cat's away, the mice will play. That's
Can
what
you
we
order
doing.
one extra turkey
Choosy love.
with our order?
There's something wrong with me. Every time
Oh, my God. If you always stop singing, I can get done with my text quicker.
Hey, babe, it's your mood. Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't we stop turning
All right.
down the
I
lights?
sent my text.
Show
I'm
me
done.
What we can
I am
do.
done and I am back and we can do the show.
I had my share of love.
Now, see, if it had been one she liked, she'd been like, "Hey,
So damn good. She done joined it.
What we
need
talking
a
about?
man
What
with
we talking about?
sensitive." I said, if
Mm-mm,
it was one
none
of
of
your
that.
cuts,
Oh, man.
you would have
that.
jumped right up in there.
Debo.
No, I wouldn't have.
Michelle, we've seen it.
Okay, anyway.
Unforgettable.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I apologize for it. I'm always apologizing.
Unforgettable.
Let me say good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? As you can see, dang, what's up with my hat?
It's unforgettable.
Yeah.
Unforgettable.
I was in the bathroom to go put my hat on.
You gotta
and,
move your mouth like that.
Unforgettable.
Unforgettable.
the mirror was gone in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm like, where the bathroom mirror at? man?
It was a Candyman.
So like there's remodeling taking place.
I see. I'm like, where?
New mirror, you know.
We need a mirror up in here, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you how you look.
No, that's all
Hold
right.
up.
that's
Hold up.
that's.
I
A,
love
Yeah, you
when
in there.
You love her
That's
hair
okay.
like that.
Well, I
that's
can't see
okay.
her hair because it's covered up.
Okay.
It's just
well,
enough hanging out on the side.
So let me
we
see.
we gonna have to do this. All right. Let me say good morning. Y'all already done had the concert, so let me introduce you to the artist
Choosy lover.
on bass.
Right.
Hello, Mr. DeBow. How are you today, sir?
Just peachy. I am peachy this morning.
Mm.
There's nothing that's gonna stop me from loving you this morning.
I
got nothing you can do about it.
for you, baby.
And nothing you can do about it. See that? I told y'all that she go.
Whatever.
She jumped right in.
Right in.
Clark Kent. There it is.
I'm with you, baby.
You fool.
uh,
Yeah.
Jermaine.
Know your history.
Yeah. Because if you don't know your history, you should know what's coming.
You're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah. I got a song in my spirit this morning.
No, you already sung.
No, that
No,
was,
no. You
No, but
already
this
sung.
one, it's a question for you.
It ain't no question.
Hold on. Here it goes. Wait.
Wow.
Wait.
As he
Hold on.
snaps
Hold on.
himself in.
Hold on. One,
Huh.
a two, a three. Is you is, or is you ain't my baby. Yeah.
Let's not do that.
That's,
Let's not ever do that
yeah,
again.
that's
Is you is.
I wait, where is
you
Christmas
ain't.
trees at? Oh, that's beautiful. No, bro. Let's not ever do that again. You have offended
see
me
his,
to
see
my
his head,
soul.
Michelle.
Yeah. One,
Okay.
two.
Wait, Debo,
Yes.
your extra turkey got added.
Great.
Jive.
Great.
Look,
Yes. Don't tell the folks what we're talking about either. Don't
no, because we can't have everybody going to our spot.
Right.
See, there y'all go, gatekeeping the jiving.
You can't.
You can't. Jiving the turkeys.
You can't have everybody.
Jive turkey.
Yeah, over the jiving the turkeys.
Yeah, we had to get these turkeys locked in.
Yes,
and
Lord.
if you tell too many people, you won't be able to get it.
Right,
You won't be able to get it.
You gonna see Pookie and them in
I
live.
tell you, people like, oh, I love that cologne. Where you get that from?
I can't even remember.
Girl,
You know exactly.
I think
where
I
you
was
got
in
it from.
Detroit somewhere, up the street. All right, family, a lot to get to this morning. Got a guest coming in the 8:00 hour, but let me start off with this. There are a number of parents. Okay, so right now we are actually in an interesting situation in terms of a lot of parents who would typically be getting ready to send their children to daycare, Head Start, are finding some of these doors are going to be closed, and making up alternative plans and situations to be able to accommodate basically the child care that would have been provided because your child was at Head Start. So these programs are shutting down as a result of the government shutdown. But I was actually looking at something on social media last night that caught me off guard because I hadn't heard of this. But evidently, there was a situation at a Head Start program that got people looking into other Head Start programs where children were being drugged to go to sleep. So there are these stickers that the kids have referred to as sleepy stickers. And teachers in these daycares were putting them on these children, like you apply a Band-Aid, and just sticking them, taking them off, peeling them off the paper, sticking them to their skin, and whatever the medication is in this sticker would get into these children's system.
So it's like a Novocaine.
Yeah, like a patch.
Yeah.
And putting these children to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only because one of the children snuck one of the patches out of her classroom. And she showed her mom and said, "Mommy, these are our sleepy stickers." And her mother was like, "Wait, what? What's going on?" So her mother got to looking at the sticker and asked the little girl, "Okay, so what's going on with these?" And the mother ended up, gathering from her daughter that they used these at her Head Start facility when it was nap time to be able to get these children to go to sleep. But what the parents were saying is that they noticed that their children's sleep patterns were being messed up overall. People were saying they were picking their kids up, and they showed video of people picking their kids up, kids mouth wide open, knocked out in the back seat. And parents said, "I knew something was going on, but nothing's changed. Diet hasn't changed. This hasn't changed. So we weren't exactly sure." And then I went and I looked online to see if I could find these quote unquote sleepy stickers. And they have them. One, they're sold on Amazon. New strips sleep and 30 strips for $36. Another one is sold at Target. Excuse me, it's called Nat Pat Sleepy Patch bedtime stickers for children. Helps kids fall asleep faster, support longer sleep, and are kid friendly without melatonin or sugar. And I'm just like, wait a minute.
Do they make them for adults as well?
Yeah.
So they do have patches. One is called Well Moon Sleep Support Patches for adults. And I know people hopefully just saw the story that came out a day or two ago about melatonin, which is what a lot of people use to help go to sleep at night, that is now being connected to heart attacks.
Wow.
And I don't take any of those things because I don't like the idea that there's something that I can take that can shut my body down
And
like
you
that.
won't be able to wake up on your own.
Yeah, like, and if something goes on in the house, it's an emergency.
Yeah, you
I need to
stuck.
be able to like,
Yeah.
oh wait, it's a fire.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's somebody breaking in,
Yeah.
and I'm under the influence of this
Facts,
pill,
yeah, it's
and I
crazy.
can't wake up.
Yeah.
So I have never been somebody. I don't like taking a lot of medication or anything anyway, but I definitely don't take stuff that makes me have no ability to control myself.
Yeah.
And some of this stuff, and people are like, no, you don't get that sleepy, Michelle. It impairs you. So I just want people to, hear what I said. Talk to your children, talk to your grandchildren, and just ask them. Ask the daycare providers, ask the Head Start program facilities. Is anybody familiar with the sleepy patch? Is anybody using this patch on my children or
So,
on my child?
so is there any type of legal stance that you can take against that?
Well, because it's a form of medication, if you will, even though over the counter, parents still have to be notified
Yeah, I was
if you're
about to say,
giving
don't you
something
got to
to their
give them?
child.
Yeah, you got to give
So
them
yeah,
permission.
I'm sure that there is a legal groundwork or a framework by which you could go after somebody for doing this.
And I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna ask where my grandson goes because I know they have like nap time and they put the kids down to go to sleep. But what is your strategy for that? Like, how do you make them go
Yeah,
to
but
sleep?
ask them kids first.
Oh yeah.
Ask them kids first. Because the baby showed she it was like, she had contraband. She had snuck it out. And then it's the thing. I am really tripping because the story has been out there.
And
I
nobody
found
has
it.
really talked
No,
about it.
right. I found the story back in 2024 where parents at a Texas school say the teacher gave their pre-K students sleep aids to make them sleepy. This was in a school district in the kindergarten classroom. The teacher was giving 5-year-old, 6 year, I mean, 4 and 5 year old kids, because they in K4, K5, sleeping. And they said they were putting sleepy stickers on the child, on their children's bodies. So I just, I'm like, well, how have I missed this whole story? And I know it's things I pay attention to more so than others, but this one got me. Because the idea that somebody was putting a patch on Atlas to make him go to sleep, man, tearing up a school. So parents, have this conversation. Uh, some of your children won't be old enough to tell you exactly what's happening. So look and see if you can see anything on their body that where maybe somebody has applied a sticker, because sometimes it'll leave a little bit of residue or something. But make sure you are also letting folks know, I heard about this, and I want to make sure that everybody understands nobody is to put anything on my child that I have not consented to or approved of. So again, ask your babies, have anybody at their school tried to put a quote sleepy sticker on them. All right, a couple of other things while I was on the internet. Sound like grandma. The internet rabbit hole. Another story that just broke last week that hasn't gotten a ton of attention, but I certainly think it's newsworthy. So, when you're in the military and you rise to a certain status, okay, you're a general or whatever, admiral, whatever these titles are, you are afforded military housing for your family. Okay. The housing tends to be nice, not, lavish, but it's nice. It's on the military basis, and your family is able to stay there. Well, the Atlantic um, newspaper, the New York Times, a couple of different organizations broke a story last week that said that at least 7 Trump administrator, administrative officials have been moving into military housing on military bases. They have been able to confirm 2 of these people so far. Stephen Miller, Mr. Nazi himself, he and his wife, have now moved into a house intended for someone who has served this is serving this country, that has risen through the ranks, paid their dues, and is able to stay in one of these houses on the military base. Now, Stephen Miller and his wife have moved into one of these houses. Christy Nome, the Secure Homeland Security Secretary, she had been trying to get into military housing and live on the base since July. Okay. Others that they have said that have been either asked about staying in military houses or requested to stay in military houses by Trump, or however this whole thing is working out. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, Army Secretary Don Driscoll, and then they said there was another senior political appointee and another senior White House official. Now, many of them claim that after the shooting of Charlie Kirk, that they all, felt unsafe. And Stephen Miller said that there have been people protesting at his house, and his wife has been scared. But if you take in houses that were intended for military personnel, where do the military personnel end up going? Because that means they got to take housing from somebody else. With the exception of Hegseth, who served in the National Guard or some mess. And I don't mean to minimize it, so let me clean that up. But I just, where do the other people have to go? Because everybody that knows anything about the military, military housing is a premium. It is limited. You are on waiting list to get this housing. So you have non-military people who, because you worried that the policies that you are a part of enacting are causing people to picket and riot outside your house. And then Charlie Kirk gets shot. But Christy Nome was asking for military housing before Charlie Kirk got shot. Let me be clear about that, according to the reports. Why would you all be able to stay in military housing? And if you think about the way a lot of regimes run, like in Russia, a lot of their top people connected to Putin and the administration, they're under constant military protection because, people know your policies are unpopular. Folks may try to come for you. They want the peace of nobody being in protests outside of their houses, because you can't come onto a military base protesting. You can't do it. And then, like, what happens to the folks who the housing was intended to accommodate? So I just need people to keep their eye on, like, literally how all of these norms are changing, and folks are doing stuff that are beginning to set this up more and more like it's other stuff at play here. You literally are now hiding or trying to put your folks that are architects in our country's destruction on military bases. And just think about that for a second. As there are military members who actually qualify for public assistance, veterans who qualify for, low income housing, who qualify now for SNAP benefits, you on basis that these people have helped to secure, protect, or the reason that they are there. Donald Trump, the 5-time draft dodger, is using military bases to protect the silly racists that he got with him that's screwing up this country. Somebody said, but is this a move to give free security? Yeah, that part too. Because as I said, you can't protest on a military base. So Steve Miller and his wife, Katie, get the security of hiding out on the military base, and they never have to be bothered with the people. So yeah, it is a form of free security. But Nancy Pelosi has somebody go into her home and beat her husband with a hammer, and nobody talks about security. We've had lawmakers be killed, and nobody talks about security until it comes knocking at the white supremacist door. Now we need security, and we need to move on to military bases. I would argue that a Nancy Pelosi is more important than Stephen Miller in terms of security. That these lawmakers and legislators more important than a White House advisor in terms of Stephen Miller and Katie. If you're going to do that. But oh, wait, what am I saying? The former vice president of the United States, whose security gets cut by Donald Trump, but Stephen Miller and Katie can get military housing. But the former vice president of these United States couldn't get, an additional extension on a security detail that Joe Biden had put in place before he left office. Do you see the problem? Bless you, man. Do you see the inherent problem when we say we got to pay attention to what's going on? But wait, because it's going to get just a little bit deeper. I'm being told there's no sound on YouTube. We will try to figure it out. The government might have cut it. Oh, they said it's good now. Yeah, the government might have cut it off. Because, you would think that more news outlets and media would be putting on blast this policy that military personnel are being moved around so racists and supremacists can be protected from the public that you're trying to hurt. So, okay, so that's one thing. The other thing, this woman did this podcast, and again, not a conspiracy theorist. I don't really buy into a lot of stuff, but she said, y'all, we're gonna stop. I'm paraphrasing. She said, we're gonna stop talking about the ballroom like it's really about it being a ballroom. Because all indications are that there was a bunker underneath the East Wing in the event of an attack on the White House. And so this podcaster, she was saying that when you think about the expansive size of this ballroom, the size of a bunker that you could put underneath to be able to accommodate the other white supremacists that you have working with you. So you got to bring Katie and Steve. You got to bring, Rubio, or you got to bring so-and-so. So you may need a lot of space in your bunker as you make America less safe every day. But, I thought about that because when they said they didn't want anybody taking pictures of the site, they tried to shield what all that work looks like from the public. And yes, if there was, in fact, a bunker there, then, well, for sure you need another one. Because if you can't get out right away. And so I just thought that was interesting too, because another question that the media should be asking. But here's the rub, and then I got to go to break. But here's the rub. The media, who is being bullied and fearful of losing, interviews, access to the White House, they are not going to ask the tough questions anymore. They are not going to be challenging and pushing back in a way that we're used to the media doing. And now there are media executives, most recently over at CBS, that are being installed who don't believe in diversity, equity, inclusion, who don't believe in telling some of the news stories that need to be told to protect the American public, who are uh, softballing questions to the president. CBS, in their interview that they just did with Laura O'Donnell and the president, they have to now release 78 or 70 something minutes of the interview because Donald Trump sued them and said y'all gave Kamala Harris favorable treatment. Y'all edited her video, her interview to make it, more polished or whatever. And so now that same lawsuit has been used against Trump, who did a 28-minute interview. And people were like, because you could tell he was about to say, or you could tell this was edited. So now they've had to release that whole unedited video. And people are waiting for that to drop. But I don't watch MSNBC anymore. Everybody know I love Rachel Maddow. I love Rachel Maddow. Can't watch it no more. The purging of Black people and brown people from that station, it was sickening. It was absolutely sickening. And I'm not talking about Joy Reid. I'm talking about all of them. Black women got put off MSNBC at will. And then, we're going to pick one or two. What did I even say about the show that Simone, Michael Steele, and the Hispanic lady have? I can't think of her name right now. It take 3 minorities to equal one damn show that a white person get to do by themselves all day. Because Simone had her own show. Michael Steele never had a show. I think the other lady, she may have had her own show. Now we bring them all together because it takes 3 Negroes to do, or 3 minorities to do what one white person is capable of doing by themselves, and making bigger paychecks and having bigger visibility. So I don't watch MSNBC anymore. And it pains me because I know Rachel Maddow be dropping knowledge. I love Sunday mornings on CBS, but I'm not going to be messing with CBS no more. I already don't watch Fox. So literally that means I have to read. I have to go out, read the New York Times, read the Atlantic, read the so-and-so to find my news. Because my dollars, to the extent that I can support it, I'm not getting ready to support CBS hiring a new manager, Elisa Menendez. Thank you so much. I'm not getting ready to this woman, they said she was anti-DEI before she got hired. Now, all of a sudden, Trump is willing to go on CBS and do an interview and then, talk about how great this new woman is. But that's because she's in line with his BS. And see, this is the difference between me and a lot of people. I don't have no problem turning something off. No matter how much I love it. I don't have no problem with that. Because I understand overall, you reduce the visibility of Black and brown people. You shut out voices. You allowed yourself to be bullied by Donald Trump. And I can't trust the information that you're giving me anymore. MSNBC already did a horrible job of that. Every anchor talked about the same topics on every show for the most part. They picked the 4-5 topics of the day, and all of them talked about it from a different vantage point. But from show to show to show, that's what you heard. And the only thing was Rachel Maddow was the coldest at it because she gave you the backstory, that this is connected here, and these how these dots line up. And oh, you see it now? That's what Rachel did for you. But everybody else, same 4 or 5 topics, just talking about it from a different vantage point. Y'all got to be careful about where y'all getting y'all news from. And y'all got to be willing to understand we are supporting networks that don't support us. Us meaning Black folks, us meaning communities of color. And therefore, we also are supporting networks that may not be giving us the straight story, that are giving us material that hides or contours or shades some of the nonsense that's really going on in this country. These stories are being watered down to protect Donald Trump and the White House, his minions, and his policies. So CBS, if that's what you want to do it. But I won't be watching CBS mornings no more. I won't be turning y'all station on for nothing no more. Other than local stuff, I want national programming. I'm good. Like MSNBC had to come off my locked in on my Sirius XM. You have to come off of here because you got people that's running your network now that don't value black and brown folks. So what the hell I look like having you on my subscription at Sirius XM? Take that mess off my radio. Let me go to the phone line, and then I got to take a break. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle.
Hey, what's happening, Rick?
This is Rick calling you long distance from Germany.
Yes, sir.
And my housing is tenuous, in jeopardy. I know every day I call America and talk on a talk show, I'm putting not only my life and family in danger, my family in Germany, my family in America, but I put myself in danger. Trump knows what time it is. Anybody who thinks he's building a ballroom under the White House needs to have their head examined. He's building a bigger bunker in and around the White House because he knows what time it is. The hatred coming against America because of our wars and interfering in other people's countries over the last 45 years. Most of America is busy partying and watching sports and maybe even listening to music. We don't know what time it is, but Trump knows what time it is. And those people hiding out on the military base, they know what time it is. Hatred is coming against America. Terrorist attacks are coming against America. And poor and working class Americans wake up when you snatch their food, when you snatch their good government job. Suddenly, they're not just in the streets, but they're grabbing their gun and they want to go hunting. They want to go shooting. White people are shooting at each other now. I'm done, sis.
All right. Thank you, bro. I appreciate the call. And somebody flagged for me that Michelle Miller, who wife of Mark Morial, who runs the National Urban League, that she just got let go from CBS. Her and Dana Jacobson. She just got let go. Because, see, number one, they also got to recoup some of the millions of dollars they just paid Trump in the settlement. So I'm sorry. You know, they literally were talking about Gayle King's position is tenuous. They waiting to see what's going to happen with Gayle. Somebody else said, good morning, Michelle. I was done with CBS when they canceled The Late Show. I knew it would be a mess after that, and CBS Mornings has gotten horrible. What else? Somebody said, and Michelle Miller is a dope sister. Done. Exactly. I also canceled Paramount Plus and won't be subscribing at all. Exactly. Because if you don't value people that look like me and the types of stories that they're going to tell, why am I watching this station? One time my son said this to me, and Carla, here I come. But my son said to me, he said, Mom, you watch a lot of TV with a lot of white folks. That's what he said. And I said, it's a couple of reasons for that, son. I said, and ironically, I said the same thing to my mother. And my mother said, that's all there was on TV at the time. There weren't a lot of programs that had black folks in them. And if you was going to watch TV, you had to watch them. And I was like, I got that. You're absolutely right. You know, I think my mom was born in 42. But my mom was born in 42. I think about the time frame that she grew up in, TV just coming into play, really. And of course, the programming, it was white folks. Leave It to Beaver and, you know, all the shows. I don't even know them shows, but all them shows. As I'm coming up, it becomes a little bit more diversified. You get the Jeffersons, you get Good Times, you get a black person sprinkle here or there, but My early childhood, it's just a step above what my mom's was. But I'm also a person that I don't like a lot of violence. I know it's hard to believe. Yeah, I knew you was gonna do. I knew you was gonna do that, Debo. But I don't like a lot of shoot 'em up. I don't like, drug dealing. I don't like, seedy prostitution. Definitely can't stand, images of black folks killing each other over crack and stupid. I don't like stuff like that. I am happy go lucky. And I gotta be honest. As black folks, we don't make enough like happy go lucky, Bill Cosby-ish kind of shows. And some people like that ain't the reality. That's my reality. I don't live like Belly and New Jack City, and I don't live like that. And I really don't want that in my house. It's not entertainment to me. I will never watch Training Day again. I'm just not that person. And so stuff that's more benign, I like political dramas. I like that kind of stuff. It tends to have more white people in it. But I'm conscientious of that too. But I also make decisions about where I spend my money. You can't get my money when I see that you intentionally exclude us. So these are just some things that as I'm going down the rabbit hole that stood out for me, that I just wanted to make sure I'm not by myself in terms of this community and understanding what's happening around us and our level of complicity in that. So let me take a break and I'll be right back. Hey, family, we got a caller. Let's get him in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Dr. Michelle.
What's happening, Dr. Ward?
I want to doctorize Debo. I hadn't doctorized him enough.
No need.
Nah,
No
he's
need.
not a doctor.
No
He's more
need.
of a nurse. You
Let
know what I'm
let
saying?
me call the shot.
No
Let me
need.
call the shot.
No
He
need.
I
said, "Let him
brought a
call the
lot.
shots."
Look.
No need.
Let me give you some education. I'm gonna give you some
No
education, all of
need.
y'all.
I'm sick of this hat this
I'm gonna give
morning.
you some education right away.
What's going
You
on, Doc?
know Dr. J,
Sir?
Doc Rivers,
Yep.
Doctor. What's the other rapper name?
Dr. Dre.
Yeah. Anyway, all doctors don't work with sick people.
I do.
You can get an honorary doctorate by being recognized by other experts in your field,
So you
and
don't
they can
listen to
drop
me.
an honorary.
You don't
You,
listen to me because I don't mess with honorary doctors.
you need to stop that.
I don't mess with them.
But let me tell you
I
this,
can't be giving
Miss.
you something I work for. I can't do that.
I said honorary.
I
That's
know. That's why I
different.
said I don't give people stuff that they ain't work
You
for.
can have yours, and I'm gonna have mine.
Yes, sir. We gonna agree to disagree.
I begin. Just yesterday, I started seeing you on TV.
Mm.
I'm watching your head wear.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah, they need their
questions.
mirror here. I keep
Listen,
messing with
listen,
my hat
listen,
this
listen,
morning.
listen. That's why I can't get in because you keep talking.
Uh,
Go
uh,
ahead.
you know what?
Yesterday,
See, you about to get hung up
yesterday,
on.
you need to be careful what you had on yesterday. The little gangster eyes.
You know what?
Gangster rap.
Gangster ride.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
But a point I want to make, sort of overall, is the money for the nation, the national debt, and all of that. I tried to make it before, and I know it's above the level of most people. This country has no problem with money. The national debt, and this is our whole economy is not made on production or service. It's made on stuff and papers. The stock market looks good, and it's supposed to be an index of our economy. But the stock market is controlled by big money. Big money don't pay no taxes, and they push the stock market up. And when it fails, the government bails them out. So this big money controls everything. And I'm gonna let you go since you don't want to listen to me. But
What is you talking
but
about? I'm sitting here listening.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm talking about. You're gonna look at all these TV shows on the regular channel, MSNBC. I'm gonna give you some advice. Look at YouTube. You can pick what you want, and that's all. And you have to sift through that, but you'll get everything.
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna let you have a good day. And you send Doctor Ride out. Go ahead and get this keyboard before tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I will be there today, sir, to pick up the keyboard.
Mhm. And I want to be in the correct hands
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
used and appreciated.
Yes,
And
sir.
y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir. Thank you. See, I'm gonna tell y'all, don't watch me on YouTube and try to ascertain whether I'm listening to your comments or not. Because I might be reading something and just looking down, but I'm still listening. That's the problem with Facebook and YouTube. Y'all trying to judge my body language to figure out if I'm listening. So don't since you ain't listening. Anyway, let me take a break. I'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. So, let me take a second, just in terms of two things or a couple of things locally. Um, there's a story in the Journal Sentinel today that is discussing a recent return of land to indigenous people here in Wisconsin from the Catholic Church. So, the Catholic Church, which has a long and tangled history in relationship to indigenous people, had taken land that belonged to indigenous folks, made it their own, built on the land, did what they wanted to with the land. And so recently, a Catholic organization, this is a story again in the Journal Sentinel, returned land, and I don't know how to pronounce the name of the tribe properly. It's Ojibwe, so I'm not sure if that's Ojibwe, but they returned this land to this tribe, marking what officials are calling the first known return of Catholic owned land to an indigenous tribe as an act of reparations. So, I like the characterization of Catholic owned land. You you can't own something you stole. So Catholic coveted land, but you not returning it if it was yours. You're not providing reparations if it was your property. You're returning stolen property. But anyway, the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration on October 31st formally transferred its Marywood Franciscan Spirituality Center property located on the shores of Trout Lake in Arbor Vitae to the Flac de Flambeau Ojibwe tribe, Ojibwe Nation, which has a reservation about 6 miles away. Marywood was a retreat for the sisters. This return represents more than the restoration of land. It is the restoration of balance, dignity, and our sacred connection to the places our ancestors once walked, said the president of the Lac de la Flambeau tribal, President John Johnson. And so it says some more stuff. But then it says the Catholic Church was one of the largest operators of Indian boarding schools in the U.S. from the late 1800s, well into the 1900s. These schools, or boarding schools, would strip Native children of their identity, language, traditional clothes, and other parts of their culture and heritage to forcefully assimilate them into American society. Incidents of physical and sexual abuse against children were reported at these schools. The Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration administered St. Mary's Catholic Indian Boarding School from 1883 to 1969. Many children from Lac de la Flambeau attended the school, which was in Odana, about 83 miles away from the Marywood property in northwest Wisconsin on the Bad River, Ojibwe, I'm messing that up, reservation. One of the quotes in the article, quote, "It was painful to address our complicity, but we knew it had to be done. We wanted to leave a legacy of healing." And the Franciscan sisters sold the Marywood property to the tribe for $30,000, which is what the sisters paid for it in 1966. The amount is only just 1% of its current value. The land transfer was assisted. So this is the other thing. Let me go back. Let me go back to that for a second. The land, the Franciscan sisters sold the property to the tribe for $30,000, which is what they paid for it in 1966. So you, Ojibwe, thank you, Sarah. Ojibwe. I know she was like, could you please stop butchering this? So you bought stolen property, okay? And like that was the part of the story that irked me. Because don't call it reparations when I got to pay you to get back something that was stolen from my people in the first place. And you want to look at some of these people and like say to them, so you really think you did something benevolent? You made it right. How is somebody who had their land stolen paying for it? I don't care how much they pay for it to get it back. Reparations. That's not the definition of reparations. And so, on one hand, acknowledge that them doing the sale for $30,000, you know, that's palatable. I can live with that. But I just need you to understand how you framing this and maybe how the media is framing this. This is not reparations. You're not making a wrong right because you charge me for that's like somebody come in my house and steal my 90-inch TV and they sell it hot on the street. And I run into Joe and Joe say, yeah, I bought this bad 90-inch TV for $1,700 and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, show it to me. He showed it to me. I said, man, that's my TV. And he's like, what? He said, well, man, just give me my 1,700 and you can have it back. No, I'm calling the police and you can deal with whoever you bought the TV from because I don't owe you 1,700. I already paid 1,700 for it, or quite frankly, I paid $3,000 or $5,000 for it when I bought it. So no, I'm not gonna just give you your 1,700 back. I'm calling the Milwaukee Police Department so they can come to your house to help me retrieve my stolen property, and you deal with whoever you bought it from in the first place. Reparations does not require me to pay for something that was stolen from me. So I just had to have that little moment because when I say that people kill me though, and they got their chest stuck out and they feel real good about what they did. You know, like yes, we righted a wrong. You charge me for something that got stolen from me. You know, reparations. That ain't that. Do I need to read the definition of reparations and or print it up and send it to the Catholic Church? And while y'all doing reparations. While we doing reparations, while we're doing reparations, I'm just going to leave it there. I don't even feel like getting into it. But the church in the United States, which has now, for the most part, acknowledged their role in slavery, make sure when you're on the reparation train that the train move through Black folks community too. make sure the reparation train keep rolling. Because I don't want to say, oh, you did it for them. What about us? I'm just saying, in addition to what you did for them, damn, my head is cold. In addition to what you did for them, do something for the other folks that you wronged too. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Queen Sister.
Good morning, bro. How you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. I just had an Elton John breakfast.
An Elton John breakfast? What is that?
Take it 80s.
I didn't know that's what that was called. I had him all the time. Okay, perfect.
That was one of the songs back in the day. But Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. I mean,
Yes.
month.
Yes, month. Yes, sir.
All right, check that quickly.
It's hard to hear you, bro. You got us on speaker?
Yeah, let me turn the speaker off. Okay.
That's much better.
All right. Yeah. I stopped watching CBS over a year ago when Gayle King said, I'm glad she's going. She said out of her mouth when they was talking about relationships, I can't date a man unless he knows how to carry himself at a White House dinner. I'm like, you bougie creep, you. I stopped watching her, and she only exists because of you know who. And I love you, and that's about all I got.
All right, thank you, bro. Look, we about to have a moment. Thank you. Um, hmm, What do I think about that? So I can only date a man if he knows how to comport himself at a White House dinner. Huh. Huh. Yeah, I'm I'm gonna just say this. Um, does that mean that I gotta know which fork is the salad fork? Does that mean I have to be able to have conversation, with people that are politically inclined? I mean, what does that mean? So I could definitely see why somebody would be offended by that. And I'm gonna just say this: I know people, not just brothers. I know people that very common spoken, um, may not, know all the different table etiquette, may not necessarily know this is what you say to greet the Queen of England who's visiting, or what you say to, the um the guests at the White House. But these are some of the most decent people. The people that if I'm in trouble, these are people I'm going to look for. So I think it's something to be. And then, but the other thing, is people talk about dating people and being evenly yoked. Um, I move in certain circles. I do certain things, and I do need to be able to bring people with me that I don't have to educate. Okay, so look, babe, when this happened, this is going on. This is going on. This is going on. I definitely, you know, sometimes you don't have time for that. I don't have time to bring you up to speed on etiquette. So for me, it's contextual. It's what's happening at the moment. Um, because there can be conversations that's inappropriate for these places. So, but I think that decent people, decent people, they figure it out. Yeah. Say this, don't say this. Read the room. I tell people all the time, learn how to read the room. So I'm gonna stay neutral on that. I wouldn't have said it. I would have never said that. But I'm not gonna tell you I wouldn't have never thought it based on what I gotta do. It's some places if I gotta go someplace, there are certain brothers I'm gonna take, and there's some brothers I'm not gonna take. I'm just being honest. And some of the brothers I'm not gonna take, they don't want to be there anyway. They don't like the room. They don't like politics. They don't like X, Y, and Z. So they'll tell me, no, take somebody else, Michelle. They don't want to go. So I think it's subjective. But I still wouldn't have said that on TV. I wouldn't have said that. All right. While I'm local, press release comes out yesterday from Alderman Lamont Westmoreland, letting people know that impoundment is live. His press release says after a long 2-year fight and a change in state law, a new city ordinance that I authored and advanced allowing for the impoundment of vehicles being operated by individuals driving like fools on our streets is officially live. Yesterday, the Common Council passed the ordinance unanimously. Let me be clear. Now, this is all in his press release that I'm reading. Let me be clear. I don't want vehicles impounded. What I want is behavioral change and compliance so that impounds don't need to happen. However, if you're caught in the act, your vehicle will be taken. On top of citations and possible arrest and getting it back, and possible arrest, this should just say, and getting it back won't be easy. You'll need to pay all outstanding citations, not just the one from the incident, have a valid driver's license, valid insurance, and pay all towing and storage fees. Also, note, once that vehicle arrives at the tow lot, the 90-day clock starts ticking. And on the 91st day, the vehicle may be auctioned off or destroyed and recycled. Any and all vehicles impounded will be a case of self inflicted punishment. The choice is yours, reckless drivers. Milwaukee Police Department officers have now been given the directive. And again, this ordinance is officially live. While I led this change, I didn't do it. I did not do it alone. My sincere, why can I not read today? My sincere thanks go out to every resident, advocate, and partner who stood beside me, in addition to my council colleagues, and pushed for this change. This is not the end of the fight, it's another step forward. I will continue exploring every possible approach to hold reckless drivers accountable and protect the safety of every person in our city. Um, so first I, want to make sure that everybody knows that this is now a official thing. That your car, if you are caught reckless driving, can be towed. Um, on the first offense. And all of the things that he lays out in his press release can happen. Um, the title of the press release, Empowerment is Live, Don't Test Us.
Um, my question would be, since it's active now, what would the police deem reckless driving? Like you swerving at the last minute, I mean, because they can just say you was reckless driving and tow your vehicle, and now you in the crunch. So, is there any stipulations on what is considered reckless driving? Speeding, is
Um,
speeding considered reckless driving?
mm, I remember those questions coming up. How much of this was going to be subjective in terms of officers being able to make these decisions on the scene? And I think it was just that the officers were given a lot of discretion and leeway about what was defined as reckless driving. I'm looking real quick to see if I can see something more specific. Um, Let me see. I got something that says the DA's office doesn't reduce those tickets or even given an offer. People have to pay directly. Hang on. What is on the citation when they get a reckless driving ticket?
How
Um,
much is that ticket?
Hang on. Let me get this information, because that would be one great thing to have included, potentially. And it's been out there in other ways, but yeah, to be able to say, so as a reminder, these are the fines for reckless driving. But let me uh see if I can find it under new state law.
So it's like, so when they issue you this reckless driving ticket, how long do you have to pay it? And for those people that are struggling, especially now that the government is shut down, and some people's not working, and that's going to be even more of a tight squeeze. For you to lose your transportation, then have to come up with four, five, six, $700.
Yeah. So right now, in terms of that first question you asked about what constitutes reckless driving, it just says literally anything that constitutes basically unsafe, excessive speeding,
Yeah,
especially well above the posted limit or too fast for conditions, street racing, drag racing on public roads, aggressive tailgating or weaving in and out of traffic, intentionally running red lights or stop signs, driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol, fleeing or attempting to elude an officer, driving outside of traffic lanes.
and that's reckless driving.
Mm,
See the loopholes? In this thing.
um,
So it's like, the what if I'm running late for work and I accidentally missed the light? Well, I mean, you see it's yellow, but you try to get through it and it's red and you get pulled over and they say you ran the light. That'll be considered reckless driving. So you can take my vehicle, put me in the crunch. I'm already not going to work because you took my car. So now you're taking money out of what I already don't have.
I think and the thing here will be, again, everybody understanding what constitutes reckless driving, because somebody could say, yeah, I ran that, I did run the red light, you know, um, but I was on the, how folks be like, I was on the yellow and then I got through and it was red. And like, could the officer say, well, that was reckless driving, and I'm taking, but it wasn't like cats swerving in and out of traffic because then you become nervous. Like, can any traffic infraction be considered reckless?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you put it in the police hands to decide if they having a bad day, if they are racist, whatever, they could tow your vehicle just to make your day bad. Say you was reckless driving, give you that ticket because it falls in between them loopholes of, oh, you crossed the line, you reckless driving. Oh, you might have went through the red light. I mean, hell, I ain't gonna lie. Man, there was a couple red lights I went through this morning.
Well,
Purposely.
well,
Yeah, I said it. Yeah,
well,
purposely.
well, we don't want that used in a court of law.
But it wasn't reckless. I had somewhere to be.
I have something that says it is completely subjective to what the officer thinks reckless driving is. People have trials sometimes on the issue, sometimes it's speeding, sometimes it's using the right lane, sometimes it's passing people, because that's illegal. Passing people on the right lane. I keep trying to tell people that that's illegal. Um, there are just a number of things that could be constituted as reckless driving, and that was one of the things I think that a lot of people were worried about is that because they had to like, so what if my car was taken without my permission? My son used it and does this, so they went back and tried to fix that loophole so that a parent had an ability to get their car without paying all these exorbitant fines if they, are able to establish that this car was taken. I reported it stolen to the police, blah, blah, blah. But it's a lot of parents, you're not about to turn your kid in. You gotta be real, like, stuff gotta be real crazy for you. Like, okay, I'm gonna create a situation where this child possibly is going to jail. But I need people to understand that this is happening and that it will be interesting to see how the law enforcement choose to use it. Somebody said, I guess I have to drive on cruise control while driving on city streets. I mean, I just need people to understand it's real, y'all. Let me go to a break and I will be right back. And I think my guest is here. So we will be, um, oh, somebody said, I guess you'll be more responsible and who you let drive your car too. For the people, no, because I know, like I said, I had a
See, but
situation.
you don't know. But you don't know what they do if you. I mean,
Yeah, no, no,
like,
no. I'm saying, but that's why I may not know what you do, but I gotta judge of character to say I'm gonna let Jermaine use my car.
yeah, but everybody
Because
can make a mistake.
I mean, you can. I'm not talking about the people who make a mistake. I'm talking about the people who just like when I had to go on Facebook and post.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
okay, okay, okay,
like
okay.
I know
Yeah,
this car belongs to a woman because I
yeah,
see
yeah,
the plate
yeah,
is a sorority.
yeah,
And does anybody know this car?
yeah,
Get to your soror and tell her somebody driving her car acting like a fool out here.
yeah.
So it's nuance to it for sure. And it's gonna be people that's gonna get caught up. Make no mistake about it. I'll take a break. I'll be right back. I'm about to have a conversation that I have wanted to have for a while. It won't be the last time I have this conversation, but coming off of the work that we did as a community to help make sure that we could assist the family of Azaria Jones with her burial after an unexpected tragedy, it just drove home that point again for me that we need to have people who either are working in the insurance industry, familiar with the insurance industry, to come in and talk to our community about why this is important, the affordability of this, because a lot of people think I can't even afford it, or to dispel some of, just the nonsense that gets connected to why we don't plan and make provisions for that moment in life that we all gonna endure. There's not a single person that's here right now that's not gonna die. And so let me welcome to the show, Christina. Hey, Christina, how you doing
Hey,
today?
Michelle, how are you?
Good, good. Pull the mic up just a little bit for me
Okay.
and introduce yourself to people. Tell me your full name.
My name is Christina Hales, and I've been in the financial industry for about 20 years doing different things, but started doing life insurance about 6 months ago.
So why did you feel, because you've worked in legislative offices, so you've done quite a bit. Why the pivot or inclusion of life insurance as a part of your portfolio of work?
I've always thought that life insurance was important, as particularly in a way of trying to help build generational wealth, but as also being a minister in the community, you prepare people to deal with situations on a day to day from a spiritual standpoint, or help them navigate life from a spiritual standpoint, and then ultimately preparing them for death, which we're all going to die. And then realizing that as we're doing this work, understanding that people weren't, they may be spiritually prepared for death, but then they weren't financially prepared for death. And having to navigate that situation with families, and even in my own family, what that looks like.
And I mean, and like I said, you and I worked together in the Capitol.
Mhm.
So you were in State Representative Lakeisha Meyer's office. So this is somebody that I've come to work with and know over the last few years. And when I saw that, this was an area now
Mhm.
that you were knowledgeable about, I was like, let me call her. Like let me lean on a friendship, because the conversations that I've had were people who tell me I cannot afford life insurance. I'm going to leave it up to my kids. I don't have anything to leave anybody anyway. So why would I worry about that? Or, they'll figure it out. Or I don't have enough money to cover a policy. Where do you begin to start, Christina, when you start to have these conversations with people about, let's break them down into quick segments.
Sure.
Let's start with the kids. They'll figure it out. What's the response to that?
That the kids will figure it out is, well, if they don't have anything now, then what are they going to use to figure it out with, right? So if they're barely getting by, or just making ends meet for themselves, what is there for them to be able to figure out? We have to have these conversations
and be realistic about.
and be real.
Like you said, I'm helping my kids now.
Mhm.
So all of a sudden, when I die, my kids gonna figure out how to bury me.
They gonna have, where's this ball of money coming from? That they'll be able to do those situations.
Okay, so then if I'm listening to you, I'm like, okay, you want me to take care of it myself. I'm on a fixed income. I don't make a ton of money.
Right.
So I can't afford life insurance. What's the response to that?
Sometimes the affordability of life insurance is perceived, and that you have insurance companies, insurance agents that are trying to sell policies.
Okay.
So they're going to try to sell you a big policy with all the bells and whistles, the Cadillac of the situation, when perhaps you can actually get started with something smaller and more basic that can be affordable for you. And then also realizing that the earlier that you get your insurance policies, the cheaper they're going to be. So not waiting until that last end of moment, last phase stage of life to decide you need an insurance policy.
Because I tell people this after coming off my mother's funeral.
Mhm.
My mother had different ranges of life insurance policies. and she had some of those policies that were much more comprehensive.
Mm.
But my mother died during COVID.
Mm.
So there couldn't be any big lavish funerals because you couldn't invite anybody.
Mm.
I think we were limited and we had to push, and only because the funeral home director knew my mother
Mm.
were we able to have even 20 people
Right.
in that funeral home to be able to bury her. And my brother, my mom only has the two children, my brother and I.
Okay.
And so neither of us lived in the state of Alabama anymore. And so we, had to process, do we bury mom knowing neither of us are coming back here? Because she was our last anchor to Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is, and we had to be honest, we got a plot from my grandfather, but we don't get down there. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no, we're going to visit the grave, and we ain't doing any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we, like, my brother and I there are many days my brother works my whole nerves,
Mm-hmm.
but I so appreciated the way he and I were able to navigate my mother's death. I mean, no arguments, no drama.
That's awesome.
He deferred to me on some stuff because I was the oldest, but I did
Mm.
not do anything without consulting him.
Mm.
And my mother, she made it clear. I need y'all. Now, my mother made it clear. Now, some stuff Michelle gonna decide.
Mm.
Other stuff, it's on Bruce.
Right.
And then these are the things I need y'all to do together. So she made it, because she know her kids.
Mm. Most parents,
yeah,
do.
they know
Most
that.
folks.
Yeah, you know your children. But my mother, she was like, look, here's everything, and we knew where everything was.
That's another key.
The only thing I had to go look for was the information on her burial plot, because she had bought it so long ago, because we have a family section at the cemetery. So I didn't know where that was. But for the most part, my mother kept good records. She had a written list. Call these people about my Social Security, call these people about this pension, call these people about this retirement. So you knew what to do.
Right.
And she even said, I want your brother to get my retirement money. I want blah, blah, blah. Because, again, she know her kids.
Yes.
We were able, though, to and we cremated my mother at the end. After everything was said and done. We used the lowest policy that she had, which was like one of the policies that I'm gonna just be honest. I would smirk at it, like the Globe Life or Colonial, and you'd be like, man, them janky policies. That was the policy that paid. It paid quick. They dealt directly with the funeral home, and it covered everything. We didn't have to touch them other policies for nothing connected to my mother's burial. And so, what do you say, like, when people look, somebody said Mutual of Omaha? what do you say for people who like thumb their nose at some of these different types of providers?
I would definitely say look into what it's actually offering, or what the policies are actually offering, because these policies with Globe Life and Colonial and things of that nature, a lot of them offer a basic insurance policy that will cover your basic needs.
So when we say basic needs, what are we talking about, though?
Funeral and final expenses. So the funeral certificate that you're talking about that paid out quickly right away, that covered the funeral expenses, those are the policies that you can get relatively inexpensive, and it'll pay what you need at that moment of time of death.
So, like, some of these policies, I remember, I don't know if my mom's was quite 10,000, but I think it was either 7,000 or 10, something like that. But I've seen them as low as like a $5,000 or $6,000 policy. So when we start talking about monthly, payments for something like that, what kind of ballpark are we talking about for people?
So premium amounts are going to vary because they're based off of health and habits as well. But again, the younger you get the policy, the less health issues you have, the cheaper the policy is going to be.
But I've even seen some that say they're not asking about your health.
So those are generally going to be policies that are like a prepaid policy to a funeral home.
Okay.
So when you hear about the funeral homes talking about prepaid plans and things of that nature, those are policies that work directly with the funeral home. So you go into the funeral home and you basically plan your whole funeral out, and they turn it into an insurance policy that you pay a premium each month. A lot of those policies don't require a medical background check.
Okay.
And so that's particularly like when my mother first got sick, and we were trying to make sure everything was going to be covered. We went to one of the local funeral homes and did a pre-plan
Okay.
because we knew the health condition was not going to allow her to have the insurance policy that we were going to look for to make sure that we had all the basics covered.
Right.
We did the pre-plan policy.
And and that's one of the things I tell
Excuse me.
people too. Do this stuff while you have clarity of mind.
Yes.
Because in the throes of the grief,
Mhm.
I want my mama to have this, and I want them to have the best. And no, give me the casket with the lining and a name inscribed in the top. And it's like, okay, all of these things
cost
add up.
money. Yes.
And so, and I've had this conversation with our community before. Many white funeral homes who did not do business with us back in the day had begun courting black people because white folks was not spending
the type of
10,
money.
12, 15, $17,000 for a funeral. They just weren't spending that money. And so in order to still generate the business that they were doing, you started to see more white funeral homes advertising in black communities, coming into black communities, hiring black staff, to be able to court business because we still dropping that kind of money.
Right.
So I'm trying to educate our community that number one, it is affordable.
Mhm.
You can find places.
Right.
So what insurance company do you deal with?
So
I'm taking a break. Okay, let me take a break. Thank you. I just looked up. Let me take a break. And then when we come back, I can have you answer that question.
Okay.
All right, family, I'll be right back. Back to the show. So, taking a moment
Mhm.
to talk with a young woman who is in the insurance industry about the affordability of policies. I'm getting people that are reaching out, like Michelle, help me understand what we're talking about in terms of cost. Somebody else said, how do you get a cost effective will? Somebody else said, I have nothing on my children.
Mhm.
Another person actually hit me up and said, I have a son that's a black man. I have a black male son in Milwaukee that's 15 years old,
Mhm.
and I'm worried, because of the kind of stuff that it goes
Mhm.
on.
Sure.
So, for folks that are asking these questions about cost,
Mhm.
what should people understand?
So, again, that the younger you are in getting insurance policies, the cheaper it's going to be. Insurance policies vary in pricing based on health and habits. Now, I always say for children, individuals that have children that want to get insurance policies on them while they're children is the best time.
Okay.
So, like, I have policies on my girls. They're teenagers. One's will be 16 in December. The other one's 18. We're talking about like less than $10
A month
a month
for insurance.
for insurance for an insurance policy.
Okay, that's my McDonald's for breakfast.
Correct.
One time.
One
And I
time.
might go to McDonald's 3 times a week.
Exactly.
Okay. How about once I hit that threshold of 18?
So once you hit the threshold of 18, it does go up to some degree, but you're still in reasonable amounts all the way, I would say, until you start getting 30s, and up.
And these are not exorbitant policies. These are not
Mhm.
$100,000,
No.
$200,000 policies, but this will get people buried. It will take
Correct.
care of those immediate expenses.
Correct.
And so I need people to understand that. But I'm gonna tell you, I also had a conversation. This one's kind of morbid, but I also had people asking for your contact information, so we'll make sure we
Sure.
give it out. But I've also had conversations where folks have said, "Look, you know, if you can afford it, in my death, like particularly when I worked at the state, where before you came, the state would do up to 5 times your salary
Mm-hmm.
on insurance that you could purchase.
Right.
I had that.
Me too.
So my son, okay. So
Mhm.
then they lowered it to 3 times your salary.
Okay.
But my son understood, like, the minute I'm gone, bro, you on the come up.
Mhm.
In terms of 5 times my salary plus all the other insurance policies that I had available. Now that one is gone because I'm no longer with the state. So I've had to go out and find something comparable, because I also want, in my passing, I'm not going to be there for Atlas to go to college necessarily. If something were to happen to me, I'm going to miss college. So I can't help fund that. I can't help fund prom. Here goes something on your first house. But I'm leaving life insurance enough that all those things
Can be taken
can be taken care of. So, okay. So give people your contact information.
So I can be reached at 414-436-0265.
Say it again.
414-436-0265. Like I said, I am a contracted agent through American Income Life. What we know as Globe Life. So.
Okay. And somebody else said $20. $20. And so somebody said, and what's an example of a non-janky life insurance policy? Somebody else said it's a way to even borrow on life insurance policies. I mean, and that's why when you talked about other people understand this, you can build, and you said it in your opening, you can build wealth.
Right.
Connected to some of these policies if you got the right kind of policies.
Correct.
And everybody is not broke. People can afford some of these tools that you can leverage these policies to do other things for your family.
Exactly. And we talk about other communities, having the spoon in their mouth and doing, having these funds. These are some of the ways that they do that.
Understanding how to utilize
utilize this stuff, how to operate insurance policies and things of that nature.
All right. So yeah, somebody else said Michelle asked her to give her number out again. Somebody said don't lie on the policy and say you don't smoke, and then they find out you smoke, they won't pay out potentially. Those kinds of concerns too.
So those are some of the things. Just be honest on your policy. A lot of the insurance companies, there's provisions for, if you smoke or not. They may rate you higher, which means you might have a higher premium. Even with smoking weed or whatever the case, they still will insure you.
Did you say it's smoking weed?
Yes. Yes.
I had to let that sink in. I don't smoke weed, but I had to let that sink in.
Because you have to consider in some states it's legal. So,
Right.
Insurance companies will cover it, but it's rated like, it's a risk.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, I'm gonna wrap the show. Christina, thank you so much because I had been hounding like, look, can we do this day? Can we do this day? This was just a touch the surface because she had to take her baby to school this morning. So this was the only time we could get her in. But I told her even if I got to pre-record a conversation and then air it on the show, I want to be able to have this so that people begin to think about this. But look, if you don't start with anything but a basic $5,000-$7,000 policy, get something.
Yes.
So that you are not on GoFundMe and looking at family members who also may not have it, and having to rely on strangers to help you bury your loved one.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Christina. All right,
Thank
family.
you.
Y'all know it's Thursday, so that's a wrap for me, baby. Whew, y'all gotta come to work tomorrow. Okay. We should get another sound effect. But all right, thank you to the bros in the studio, Clark Kent. That's right, baby. I'm with you. You in the hat, Jermaine.
The cat in the hat.
Yes. And Debo, appreciate you, bros. Christina, thank you so much for coming in, making time for us this morning. Say the number one more time. I heard it. Say it one more time, Christina.
414-436-0265.
All right. We're going to get some $7,000 policy. That's $10,000. I just need you to have some. All right. I'll talk to y'all next week. Did I say I'll talk to y'all next week?
Man, Bob.